And this is Tea Time with Moonmill.
And today we're talking about Uptight.
Yeah! Uptight! What is this song?
What is the
Guys,
song?
what is the song? What is it about? What's the context?
Yes.
Yes, this song is the first single off of our forthcoming debut EP. It's called Uptight, and it was inspired by many sticky situations that we have in our lives where you're not sure whether you would feel better crying or laughing about it, and you kind of do a little bit of both.
Do a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of our faves. We've been playing it for like, how long, Mary?
A year.
A year?
Over a year.
Over a year.
Yeah. I was wondering about the responses that you've garnered from audiences. Because I feel like every time I'm at a Moonmill show and you guys sing Uptight, the audience is like gagged.
I think it's a really cool song because it does have that effect of
Yeah.
you play it really like condenses, I think, a lot of emotions, and you kind of, the audience kind of feels that, and so it's probably the song in our sense that we most frequently get people coming up to us after and like talking about specifically, and often that leads to them like either asking questions or like sharing about their own experiences that made them relate to the song.
I feel like a lot of the time women will come up to us and be like, I really get this song. Like this, I feel like I've had this experience before. Like weirdly, a lot of men will come up to us and be like, who is that song about? And we're always like, it's actually not about like a specific person at all. The focus is not directed at that person. It's sort of directed at the people who do experience that.
What I like to say about the beginning of this song is like, we were kind of at a time when we were starting to like put ourselves out there more, like starting actually like performing, be like, this is a band and we're gonna be out there. And that just naturally leads you to being like exposed to like a lot more situations where you're just kind of like putting yourself out there as a woman, and kind of whenever you do that, there are like other like more negative things that come along with it, like negative kinds of attention, and like situations where you're like in the spotlight and your reactions are being like perceived.
Yeah. It was just a new experience, I would say, like going from also being like solo singer-songwriters and then going in as a duo, and we were both having the same experiences together. Isn't this crazy? This is something we have to deal with. And I feel like that's sort of how the song was born.
And how long did it take for you guys to finish writing it?
First voice memo that I sent to Mary was in May, and then we finished in August.
Yeah. But it wasn't like we were working on it like
No.
that whole time. I feel like it went pretty quick when we were working on it.
Yeah.
But there was also a lot of like putting it away for a little bit and coming back to it.
Yeah.
Because like, as you know, if you listen to a song, it's like a 5-minute song and it has like a lot of moments in it.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of like refining those and figuring out like, okay, where is it gonna go? Because I feel like a good song like takes you somewhere by the end that you were not at the beginning in some way. The initial kernel was, like you're saying, this thing of just like this moment that we all know where like we finally get to talk to someone who gets like this situation and like laugh about it, and but also kind of be like, this sucks. So like, where were we gonna go from there? It wasn't just like haha. When we got to that was when we got to that ending of being like, I'd still be it's like this release of like, oh, literally no matter what I do, you were gonna perceive me as this way.
Yeah.
And the like trying to like let go.
There was also like a fair amount of structuring of the story. We wanted it to feel specific enough that you felt like you, as a listener, that you could relate to like being in the situation without it being overly specific. I feel like we put a lot of thought into like specifying what this other person and that, you know, the speaker is talking about is like, and their behaviors, and if they ring any bell to you, like if you know, encounter that, and the journey of like starting out in the night with that one guy that your friend brought or whatever, or just some dude, and you know how isolating it can feel to be like the only person who might be witnessing this kind of behavior, and I mean, it can happen in a million ways, but for this song, it happened in this way.
When men ask if it's about one person, it's interesting. There's that contrast, but also like, as a songwriter, it is kind of like, we wanted you to think that, because like we were talking about one person a lot. A fun part of it was also just like creating this character who was like an amalgamation of like all of these annoying people
Guys,
that we've encountered.
Yeah.
So it's not one specific person, but like it definitely drew on like real experiences.
Yeah.
Is there like a certain lyric that you think like kind of defines Uptight at its core? Like the first one that truly stuck and followed all the way through the entire song when you were doing the writing process? Like the first thing that you came up with that maintained all versions of the song?
The first verse stayed the same. The first line was just like the
Yeah.
catalyst for everything else that happened
Yeah.
in this story. Getting sloppy with your hands again. It's like, yeah, of
Like
course.
you instantly know what that is.
Yeah, this is something that has happened countless times before, and it's sort of treated as something that's like not a big deal, and you can't really tell whether or not you should say something about it. I like the bridge, like,
Yeah.
what is it?
Oh,
What's
what's
the
the use
use?
in listening to a gut feeling if you're not listening to me? Is there a point to all this callousing, or will I departed and mean? That is at least like, I don't know if it's like the thesis statement of the song, but like it means a lot to us, I
It
think,
does, yeah.
because that was like a lot of the conversations we were having at this point in our lives as
Right.
well, because we were like, well, we're gonna be in these situations like a lot more
Yeah.
in this line of work,
Yeah.
and like, how do we encounter these in such a way that we don't allow it to change us, so that we become like not like the kind of like gentle and open-hearted people that we want to be.
Right.
We don't want this to like make us be like bitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's not what we do it for.
Yeah. And we don't want to live in like fear of
Yeah,
these things.
yeah.
If I were to pick like the thesis, I think it would be the I could kiss, I could game, I could lie, I could insist, but I'd still be uptight. And I'd still be uptight. Because like that's kind of ultimately the conclusion that the song reaches.
The recording process, what was that like? Because
I do think the song evolved over the course of performing it. Like even just
Definitely,
tempo-wise, I was looking back at
tempo-wise.
some old videos and
Yeah.
like it was a lot slower at first. Yeah.
It was quite like loose, and it got tighter.
Yeah.
Like the rhythm just got a little punchier. I feel like we improved in our playing as we just had more familiarity with it, and it just got solidified, condensed as this time went on. In terms of recording, we recorded it live takes with drums, bass, and us. We had Mary's brother Sam.
Yes, he flew out from Michigan to record with us, which was really special. And so we got like the bass and drums on there, and that again really helped with like the tightness of it all. And that was a really fun weekend. We did like that song and a couple of the others on the EP with that kind of arrangement, all in like one big like monster session. After that weekend, we kind of added a lot more like layers of production over the summer with our producer Oren. Definitely had like an aha moment with this song.
Oh my god, that was the best
Yeah.
day. That was the best day.
We were like, we want to make this sound bigger,
Yeah.
but we also wanted it to still sound acoustic because you know we're not pop, like it's a folk pop
Right.
situation.
Yes. And like, how does
Yeah.
that translate into this?
Mhm.
yeah.
I feel like when people think of folk, generally the ideas that come to mind are just like slower, like single
Sad.
guitar, sad, maybe like a banjo or something like that. But like, folk music can be so like reviving and like joyous and can feel big. And I don't remember who Oren was drawing inspiration from, but he was like, I just want to like, let's see what if we just like layered a bunch of acoustic guitars on?
Yeah.
And we were
And I was
already
like, that's
playing-
dumb because there's already guitars.
It's already guitars, like we don't need more. And then the first chunk of the song that we experimented with this technique was the very beginning, when all those guitars come in, bam, 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 bam. He basically played our guitar parts and just stacked them on top of each other.
Well, and like voicing the chords
voicing
like
the chords,
differently, so it was just like different. It was like different voicings of the
Yeah.
chords like all over.
So from that moment, it just kind of felt like self-explanatory. What the rest was
Right, and it was really cool because like you could do that in a way where like it would be its whole like other guitar part, like a different guitar part, but the way that like he was able to arrange it ended up really feeling like it just like made our guitars like bigger, which is just really down to like being a good guitarist and like knowing how to voice things that complements it, if that makes sense. And then we ended up using that technique through like a lot of the EP to just like make it so that yes, it's like led by like the two guitar sound, but you really kind of feel like you're like inside the guitar, which I did not really even think of as like a possibility.
No. The rest of the production kind of just like, again, felt like guided by that initial technique.
There's a lot of backing vocals that are also
backing
really fun
vocals.
to come up with.
There's a little part at the end that like I love, but like you can barely hear it, and it's this like Oren like took like a piece of backing vocal from the bridge, and he made like a chord out of it, and he just pulsed it at the end.
Oh yeah.
And
He's just like, ah.
you can barely hear it, but it's like
Yeah.
there, and the piano part and stuff. Yeah, she's really.
It was just so fun, like getting to have this song, like production-wise, be as huge as like it feels like emotion-wise. And there's definitely like a world where like the recording of it was not like that, and was like you were saying more stripped back. And I'm so happy that we didn't do that. Yeah.
That we went with our gut.
Yeah.
Last week,
Yeah.
Moonmill did a show at Arlene's Grocery that was with an entire band of everyone. And I was wondering what that was like compared to like in the recording studio. Was that process easy? Was it difficult? Like,
After so many months of playing the song, just the two of us, getting back into playing it with a band again, and everyone like did their homework and like knew the grooves, and it just felt really, really good. Like,
And because we were able to send them the produced version of it for them to like use as a reference to learn before we started rehearsing. So like they got it. You know what I mean? There was no like, what is the vibe of the song gonna be? And we like made the decision to do Uptight as like the first song in that set, and that felt really good.
Another lyric, going back to lyrics that stands out to me, is 80s chick like heartthrob.
Reincarnate. Yep.
I have a story about this.
Okay.
So like you said, you had sent me a voice memo of this song like to start with. You started writing it, and you had that verse name with that line, 80s chick heartthrob. And I remember like a lot of the time what we'll do when we like start sitting down with something, we're like, this is gonna be like a song, is we'll like ask each other questions about like the lyrics that we already came up with. And I remember kind of like going through it line by line and being like, I'm not sure like I know what that line means, because like to me, or it wasn't that I was like I didn't know what it means, but I was like, we were mentioning what we thought it meant, and I was like, oh, so like he's hot. And Kay was like, no, I meant it like in an 80s movie, like the men are all like mean. There's many layers to that reference, and that's what I like about it, is that it does give you just this instant picture of who that person
Totally.
is. And
The specific movie that I always think about is Pretty in Pink. Is it Pretty in Pink? Yes. Molly Ringwald. There's this like guy, I don't even remember, it's been so many years, but I remember watching this movie and being like, what the fuck was the big deal about that guy? He sucked.
Right. It's also just one of those lines that it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
It just paints a picture in a way that like it's like, and it becomes one of those phrases that you're like, that's a phrase, but like I've never said that before.
Right.
I love that about it.
What's your favorite drink with the salted rim? White knuckling. Preferably with the salted rim, but like whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like I like to assert my dominance with like a dark beer. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, don't fuck with me.
I have always really wanted to like have a holiday party and do like a candy cane rim or something.
Could be the syrup.
Espresso martinis with a candy cane rim.
White knuckling.
No, white knuckling. Can you imagine white
Okay.
knuckling that?
Wait, guys, what would the Uptight cocktail be?
Oh,
Wait, let me ask that.
Oh my god, there is an Uptight cocktail that we made. The sticky situation.
Oh, the sticky
It's
situation.
basically a bee's knee,
It is.
but with a salted rim.
That is it.
It's a bee's knees
It's
with
a
a salted rim.
lemon.
Salted honey
Right.
lemon. I also have something to say about the salted rim lyric.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is that was one where we were just coming up with lyrics like in the room.
Yeah.
And I was like acting like I was like spoken word,
Yeah.
like poet. Salted rims, white knuckling. And he was like, but yeah.
Mechanical laughter was funny.
Yeah, it was also funny.
Right.
That one was also funny because we were like, you know, when you're like laughing and you're trying really hard to like sound like you're having a good time, but you're not. Like, what is that called? And I was like, maniacal laughter.
And I was like, no, that's like a
not
villain.
it. Yeah,
that's like
not it.
Mwahahaha.
But then mechanical
Mechanical.
spat out
Mechanical
somehow.
spat out.
Maniacal laughter is the motherfucker making you uptight.
Right.
So,
It's
you're
so
I love
true.
that you described that as maniacal, because it is maniacal.
It is. No, you're right.
And they're forcing you to go mechanical
Yeah.
with your laughter. Guys,
Oh.
Guys, you heard it here.
Ghostwriter.
Go.
Off of that, what's your guys' fake laugh sound like? Like, if I,
I don't know what else to do. I'm not opening my mouth for you.
I think my mechanical laugh sounds like my real laugh, unfortunately. I also feel like this song has brought us a lot of phrases that we use now in our daily life.
That's true.
Like,
Shout out.
we'll be like talking about something that happened with like a man, and we can be like, well, was it like good or was it like a stupid situation?
Situation.
It's
Yeah.
easy.
everything's a
Yeah.
situation.
Right.
So much of life is a
So much of
situation.
life. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching
Thanks
Teatime
for
with
watching.
Wow.
Teatime with Moonmill.
We'll see you again
See you
soon.
with
Thank you, Amelia.
Thank you, Amelia.
Thanks.
Aurora.
Well, it's
Go
not
to
tight.
Uptight.
With this
Yeah.
context.
Right.
Yeah, very
Now that you
enlightening.
know the story.
Exactly.
Bye.
Bye.